Hello, Cornerstone. Welcome to the second outside episode of Cornerstone Connection. Hopefully, I'll be able to be outside a lot over the summer because this is just gorgeous. Standing here in a ditch today to talk to you a little bit about how we might fulfill our mission as Cornerstone. I'm going to get to why I'm in a ditch in a minute. But first, let's just talk about our mission as Cornerstone. Maybe you've heard it before, maybe you haven't, but our mission is to glorify God by guiding people into a dynamic relationship with Jesus Christ and equipping them to serve. This is a mission that we see the church has been doing for thousands of years. We see it in our study of Acts. Jesus commanded his followers to be witnesses, to go into all of the world and tell people what is true about him. And the church has been doing that in all the chapters we've looked at, and we're going to see the church continue to do that as we keep looking at Acts. But the question might come up for us, how do we do that? In 2022, in the northern suburbs of the Twin Cities, how do we guide people into a dynamic relationship with Christ? Hopefully we do that at an individual level, where one-on-one, as people who love Jesus, we're having conversations with neighbors, with friends, with family, with coworkers, and we're guiding them to love Jesus by just telling them what we know to be true about Jesus, how he saves us, how he rescues us, how he heals brokenness. Hopefully a lot of times those conversations can happen in relationships where we know enough about that person to know what truths about Jesus are going to be most impactful to them. But we also want to be doing that at a corporate level, right? We want to do it as a church, not just as individuals in the church. And one of the ways we do that is just by staying available. We have services. We provide opportunities where people can come and hear the truth about Jesus. That's important. That's really good. But Cornerstone has a history of doing more than just staying available. Cornerstone has a history of being proactive and going into our communities to find creative ways to guide people into a dynamic relationship with Jesus. Over the years, the church just broadly in America has had a couple of ways of doing that, of trying to go into the community. One way that we've done a lot of is what I call the event and invite plan. This is where you put on an event. You want to have something cool going on at the event. You want to have somebody talking who's not me, somebody who actually has some appeal and acclaim to them. So somebody famous where people are like, yeah, I'd go listen to that guy. So maybe you do something like that. Maybe you have something really fun, like you have a helicopter come in and drop candy. You're like, woo, showers of candy from heaven. All right. What's not fun about that? Maybe you turn your gym into a jungle with a huge volcano at one end, and you put the drummer up top in the volcano with red lights and fog coming down, and hey, that's fun. I'll go to that. Maybe you talk about knitting. Maybe you bake cookies. Whatever it is, you put an event together where there's something at the event that people would want to go to, and then you invite people to that event as a way to begin to point them toward Christ. Churches have done that for a long time, and you know what? It's not a bad thing. For a long time, God used it in some really good ways in the church. But here's the thing. Those events, in general, aren't effective as they once were. And the other thing about those events is, if nobody comes to that event who doesn't know Jesus, all we've done is put on a party for a bunch of people who already know Jesus. And parties are fun, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't help us guide people into a dynamic relationship with Christ. And that's what we want to do. One of the conversations we've had, even at the ministry leadership team and amongst staff, is shifting some of our thinking toward serving the community rather than just doing an event and inviting them to it. This has got some really great benefits to it. We're called to do it. We're called to love those around us, right? So that's a benefit right off the bat. Oftentimes, others will join us in serving the community who aren't a part of the church. People want to make their community better. So if we're doing something to make our community better, people will say, yeah, you know what? I'll come to that. And even if nobody who's not already a part of Cornerstone is there, the opportunity for people from our church family to together work on a project and make our community better, God uses that to build our own relationships and to connect us with one another in some really great ways. And if nothing else, if we do a project that serves the community, at the end of the day, hopefully the community's better for it, right? And that gives people a chance to look at it and say, hey, you know what? Those Christians are making this community a better place to live. Yeah, I want in on that. So over the summer months, one of the things that we want to do is we want to be thinking about ways to make the community of Blaine and the surrounding areas a little bit better. Maybe it's something simple like picking up some trash out of a ditch because it's, the snow has melted and now all the trash is showing up. Maybe it's something simple like that. Maybe it's bringing hot dogs to all the soccer families who are at soccer practice all day. I don't know what it is. You guys are the ones in Blaine. So here's what I'm asking of you in these next days even or week. Would you be praying? Would you be praying and just asking Jesus, what can we do together as Cornerstone to make Blaine a better place to live? Would you help us to see the areas where there's a need in Blaine and there are gifts in Cornerstone and those two can match up to make Blaine better? And then be observing and be looking for opportunities where Cornerstone can serve the community. And then would you let me, this part's important, would you let me or would you let somebody on staff or one of the elders know? You can email me at brent.costello@ccblaine.org. You can email the elders at elders@ccblaine.org. But staff is going to be meeting actually this Sunday for lunch and saying, okay, what can we put together? What can we as staff facilitate? And as staff, we want to facilitate it. We want to help make it happen. But if this happens, it's going to be from the passion and from the excitement of Cornerstone as a whole, and passion and excitement to guide people into a relationship with Christ and also to serve the community that we're in. And I believe that that passion and excitement is there in Cornerstone. So Cornerstone, will you pray about it? Will you think about it? And will you let me know how we can serve the community of Blaine to make it look a little bit more like it will when Jesus comes back? I'm looking forward to seeing what God does with this, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all this coming Sunday. Thanks much.